Hello, my name is Varthika Agrawal, and this presentation is for the BHTP project, Cardiovascular Disease in South Asians. The health problem that I have chosen to focus on is cardiovascular disease. The health behavior is a high-fat diet, and the population that I've chosen to focus this issue on is South Asian population. So a little bit of background about this. The reason I chose to do cardiovascular disease is because it has always been one of the top public health issues worldwide. The South Asian region consists of India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, Maldives, and Sri Lanka. The reason that I've chosen South Asian population for this presentation is that because they are one of the fastest growing ethnic groups in America. They actually also have a higher risk of heart and vascular disease compared to other ethnic groups. In fact, they have a 4 times greater risk of heart disease than the general population. I believe that an ecological and selective primary approach should be utilized to evaluate how a high-fat diet affects cardiovascular disease in South Asians. There are many risk factors that can be seen in South Asians. Risk factors such as age, family history, diet, physical exercise, genetics, diabetes, obesity, hypertension, smoking habits, inequalities of healthcare, and mental health. There are also many ecological factors that impact South Asians. Factors such as poverty, food insecurity, education, access to healthcare services, infrastructure, and the environment. Those are some factors that make it harder for South Asians to choose a healthier diet. The dietary habits of South Asians are also a little bit different compared to the rest of the world. In fact, the majority of the world's vegetarians reside in South Asia. Almost 30% of Indians are vegetarians due to religious reasons. The typical South Asian meal consists of rice, lentils, roots, tubers, yogurt, bread, pickle, and tea. However, sweets and deep-fried snacks are also often served in social gatherings. The westernization of food in South Asians has also played a huge role in the diet evolving to a higher caloric value than ever before. The theories that will be used to review the health behavior of high-fat diet in South Asians are as listed. They are theory of reasoned action and planned behavior, the health belief model, the trans-theoretical model, and the social cognitive theory. All the constructs of each respective theory are listed. These constructs were used to search for specific articles related to high-fat diet in South Asians to see how their health behavior is what their health behavior is influenced by. So if we look at summary of the review of the etiology articles, they can be broken down by the specific theories that were evaluated. So for the theory of reasoned action and/or planned behavior, results showed that participants were non-compliant towards a low-fat diet due to reasons such as lack of knowledge, lack of cooking skills, the struggle of avoiding sweets, especially during festivals, diets being expensive, etc. For the second theory, which was the health belief model, results showed that South Asians were more susceptible to cardiovascular disease due to an unhealthy diet like sweets and traditional foods, like we noticed in the theory of reasoned action. But also stress from family, work, immigration, acculturation, personal loss, etc. also influenced dietary behaviors. Particularly, perceived susceptibility and perceived benefits had the most significant positive effect on healthy eating intentions. For the third theory of trans-theoretical model, results showed that higher self-efficacy scores were positively related with a greater number of servings of fruits and vegetables. Even though this article does not study the impact of a high-fat diet, it is still worthwhile to notice the amount of fruits and vegetables eaten, as that is a much better alternative for a high-fat consumption. The fourth theory utilized was the social cognitive theory. Results showed that 58% of the variability of high-fat diet was accounted for by attitude, overall health concern, and self-efficacy. Therefore, these three constructs should be looked at more closely for influencing health behavior. After reviewing the articles related to interventions using the same four theories, here are the results. The first theory, again, which was theory of reasoned action and planned behavior, results showed that after the intervention, an experimental group showed a significant increase in attitude and perceived behavioral control in comparison to the control group. For the health belief model, results showed that there were much better perceptions towards susceptibility and severity of adverse consequences, perceived benefits, barriers, and self-efficacy to adopt healthy eating behaviors. For the third theory of trans-theoretical model, results showed that after the intervention, 77.9% of women reduced their consumption of oil for cooking and opted for healthier cooking techniques, therefore reducing dietary fat intake. And for the fourth and final theory, which was a social cognitive theory, results showed that participants included more fruits and raw salads in their diet. However, there were many barriers in the successful implementation of the program. After reviewing all of the following etiology and interventional studies above, an intervention strategy was developed. The most effective theories that could be seen had the best positive effect in changing high-fat diet behavior in South Asians was the health belief model and the trans-theoretical model. The specific constructs chosen from these two theories were perceived susceptibility, perceived barriers, cues to action, self-efficacy, and stages of change. The intervention strategy was developed by the help of the Saheli intervention, which was one of the most successful intervention studies looked at. Similar to the Saheli intervention, the proposed strategy is that participants would be chosen in America. They would be South Asian immigrants, and about a sample size of about 100 participants or above should be chosen. Participants would undergo a 4-month lifestyle intervention that would include telephone support, experiential activities, behavior modification, counseling, and most importantly, group classes for education. A questionnaire would also be conducted before and after the intervention, containing questions related to dietary fat intake, current behaviors, cardiovascular disease risk, and most importantly, questions relating to the constructs of perceived susceptibility, perceived barriers, cues to action, self-efficacy, and stages of change. The intervention will be culturally tailored to the South Asian population by hiring multilingual staff and performing experiential activities that are tailored to cultural and religious factors. A few ethical concerns for the study would be costs of the intervention. This is because there would be sufficient staff needed that is culturally appropriate for the intervention. Aid for healthcare access would also be provided to participants that struggle with healthcare access. And it would be a great idea to incorporate families into some of the experiential activities, given that subjective norms greatly impacted participants' behaviors in previous studies. However, permission would need to be taken from all family members, and this would also increase costs of the intervention since many more participants would be part of the intervention. However, this intervention strategy would be helpful due to the use of the health belief model and the trans-theoretical model to influence reduction of high-fat diet in South Asians. In conclusion, more research, screening, health promotion, and interventions need to be implemented to reduce cardiovascular disease in South Asians. And this intervention strategy is one step to accomplishing that. Here are the following references, and I thank you all for listening to this presentation.